Hi, hello, namaste. Welcome back to Shikara IAS Academy. I welcome you back to our UPSC Prelims Crash Course 2026, class number 5. We are going to discuss national income and its aggregate today. I feel this is a very important topic, even you will agree with me. Okay, before we start, let me ask you something very simple. How many of you here earn money? Some you might say that, ma'am, I don't earn. I'm a student. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Now imagine this, your father earns, your mother earns, your neighbor runs a shop, someone drives an auto, someone works in an IT company. Now imagine adding everyone's income in India for one full year. The big total number, that number which tells us how rich or how strong our country's economy is. That number is called what? National income. Today we are going to understand what it is, why governments care about it, why exams like UPSC love this topic, and why you should understand it clearly. Okay? Yes. Let us understand with the basics. Before that, Shikara IAS Academy is launching rapid revision batch for UPSC 2026 prelims, your one-stop solution for all your problems. You'll be having 100 plus high impact live sessions with PYQ integrations, live doubt sessions, static plus current affairs sessions are planned together, and you will have topic wise concise revision notes, whatnot. You'll have full length tests, you will have sectional tests, you'll have everything that is needed for your one stop solution. So grab this opportunity, enroll it right now, call on these numbers, you will get further details about it. And of course we are been running successfully this UPSC mentorship batches, TGPSC, APPSC mentorship batches, where you will be personally handhold everywhere in each sort of thing, and this will be very a good opportunity for you. So grab this now. For more details, call on this number. And yes, this is important, this is very important, that we are launching a webinar. We are going to conduct a webinar this Friday at 4 p.m. onwards. You will be having a very good blueprint for your UPSC Prelims 2026. All your doubts will be resolved. 5 months Prelims 2026 blueprint will be given, the roadmap for next coming 5 months, and you will know what the UPSC unpredictability is about, myth versus reality, and 10 common prelims mistakes that cause your selection. Everything will be discussed. PYQs will be discussed. We will discuss the revision techniques over here. We'll conduct the mock tests from scores to strategy. You will understand each and everything. So please enroll to watch this webinar live. Please enroll in the form, and you will be getting a form link in the stitched in the video down bottom, and please register through that form. And yes, with no further more wasting time, let us understand the meaning of national income. See, national income means the total money value. Okay, the total money value of all final goods and services produced by normal residents of a country in 1 year. Now, let me break this line slowly. Total money value, we calculate everything in money, not in number of goods. And what are final goods? Final goods means goods that are ready to be used. Example, bread you eat, not wheat used to make bread. Those are called what? Final goods. And who are these normal residents? People who normally live in the country even if they work abroad. And 1 year, always a time period. National income is a flow, not a stock. So in simple words, national income tells us how much income the country generates in 1 year. Why national income is important? Why should we care? First, economic growth. Right? National income tells us, is the economy growing fast or slowing down? And of course, policy making. Government uses this data to decide the taxes, to decide the budget, spending, welfare schemes, whatnot. And of course, comparison. We compare India versus China. We compare India today versus India 10 years ago. We have a long term plan of India ahead or future, and of course, living standards. Using national income, we calculate per capita income that tells us average income of people. So, national income is like a report card of the economy. Now, how do we distinguish this as domestic versus national concepts? This is a very important concept. Domestic income means income produced inside the country. Example, a Japanese company producing cars in India included, it will be included in India's domestic income and national income. This will refer, it means income earned by residents no matter where they are. And an Indian engineer working in the USA, his income is part of Indian national income. And what is this net factor, NFIA, net factor income earned from abroad? It is the difference between income earned by Indians abroad, income earned by foreigners in India. This difference connects domestic and national. Right? This is how we calculate GDP, national income. And now what is GDP? Now comes the most famous word, GDP. GDP means market value of all final goods and services produced within the country in 1 year. Here it includes depreciation measured at market prices, main indicator of economic growth. See, for example, a Korean company producing phones in India, that is included in what? India's GDP. GDP tells us how much production happened inside the country. So GDP is equals to consumption plus government spendings plus income plus exports minus imports. This will give us GDP. Okay. Now that we have learned about GDP, let us know the important scenario, India's GDP, the current context. India is one of the largest growing economies. Growth is around 6 to 7%. And in this quarter 2 of 2025, we have gained the GDP at 8.2%. And major drivers were service sector. Of course, service sector is a booming sector in India's economy. Government spending, right? And infrastructure and GDP growth figures are frequently asked in prelim statements, which is why this becomes very important. That is why GDP growth numbers appear very often in exams. Now, what is the story of GNP? Now, GDP's cousin is GNP. Okay. GNP focuses on who earned the income, not where production happened. Please, I am stressing on this. Please concentrate. Who earned the income, not where production happened. That is why GNP is equals to GDP. GDP plus income earned by residents abroad minus income earned by foreigners here. Indian IT professionals working abroad, their income is added to what? GNP. So remember, GDP is a place of production. GNP is people earning income. This is the major difference you will have to note down. And what are that? Net aggregates, NDP and NNP. Now a new word called depreciation has also come. Let me explain that also. Depreciation means wear and tear of machines, buildings, tools. Okay. Formula for this is NDP is equals to GDP minus depreciation. NNP is equals to GNP minus depreciation. Now that you have understood what is GDP, what is GNP, it is easy for you to understand what is NDP and NNP now. Net values show actual usable income. Yes or no? Gross values doesn't show the real income. Now, on saying that, what is gross value added? What is GVA? GVA means how much value producers actually add. The formula for this is GVA is equals to output minus input cost. Farmers sell wheat for 100 rupees and input cost is 40, GVA is 60. Now, this is output minus input cost. That will acquire to gross value added. You can see this example here. So, GVA shows sectoral performance. Always remember, GVA shows sectoral performance. And now, what is the relationship between GVA and GDP? Very important formula. GDP is equals to GVA plus taxes minus subsidies. Now, taxes increase the GDP, yes or no? But subsidies reduce GDP. So, change in taxes affects GDP, not GVA. This is a major difference. What are the measures that were used for measuring national income? There are three methods, but result is same. One is production method, one is income method, one is expenditure method. Think of it like measuring the same room using three rulers. Here we use based on the criteria of production. So here the keyword is how much we have produced is measured. Here we will think about income that much generated. This is the key aspect. Here how much we are spending, the expenditure is calculated. So this is how we measure in three of the methods. All three methods yield the same GDP value. Now what is nominal versus real GDP? Nominal GDP means always current prices that will be affected by inflation, and real GDP shows constant prices following the base year. Now we have the base year of 2011 and 12, and we are trying to change it to 2021 to 22. So real GDP shows constant prices, shows real growth. GDP deflator is what? Nominal by real income into 100. When you calculate using this formula, you will get that deflator. Real GDP is more, it is always more reliable. And now what is per capita income? Per capita income is equals to national income divided by population. It tells us average income per person and does not show inequality. Here this is the criteria. So per capita income is always equals to national income that we have acquired. National income that we have acquired by total population we have. Then we will be getting per capita income is equals to national income by population, total population. Please remember these formulas, and these are very easy to understand. Now let's understand the sectoral composition of India. Agriculture have less share but more people working under it. Industry having manufacturing plus construction. Services is the biggest contributor, as you know. Indian economy is becoming services led economy because we have major drive from services sector. What are the current structural trends we are having? Services led growth we are facing, manufacturing support, and then government capital expenditure, digital economy expansion. All these are very important for a driving economy like India. Now what are the limitations of national income? Remember this clearly. GDP is not equal to welfare. In the earlier classes also I told you GDP measures the quantitative, but welfare, whereas development is different from the numbers, because inequality is ignored while calculating GDP. Unpaid work is ignored while calculating GDP. Environmental condition degradation is ignored while calculating GDP. Informal sector, like how much is in fact informal sector vast in our country, is not noted down in the GDP, which is why GDP is not always equal to welfare. So we cannot calculate GDP by saying we are very good at welfare. What are the national income estimations in India? So national income estimation happens in India that will be compiled annually by National Statistical Office, and then these will be based on surveys, and then this will be revised for accuracy, and this will record administrative records from various ministries, and data is revised periodically for that accuracy, and we have this estimation going on. So who will do the estimation? National Statistical Office. These surveys are based on extensive sample surveys, and this will be utilized for database, and this will be recorded in the administrative records. Okay, so this is how we do the national income and income aggregate. So if I have to tell you the quick revision for this, see, we have understood what GDP is. GDP is production, GNP is income, GVA is value addition, real GDP is true growth, per capita income is average income. That's all. These are the simple terms that you will have to keep this in mind while studying. Okay. See, economy is not about being so exhaustive. Economy is about learning it in a very short form so that will be understandable and retainable in our mind. So today you did not just learn the definition, you learned how a country measures itself, how governments plan, how exams trap students, If you understand national income, half of Indian economy becomes very, very easy. Next time you hear about GDP on news, you will not feel scared. You will feel that confidence within you. With that confidence, we'll solve two questions now. See, with reference to GDP, consider. Wait. Huh. With reference to GDP, consider the following statements. GDP measures the monetary value of all final goods and services produced in an economy in a given period of time. Okay, this is correct. Then GDP includes the value of all intermediate goods and services produced during that period. No, it measures final goods and services. And GDP includes depreciation. Yes. So, which of the statements given above are correct is what they are asking. Now, don't panic. This question looks big, but we'll break it slowly. First, let me remind you what GDP means. GDP means total value of final goods and services produced inside the country in 1 year. Now, let us check each statement here one by one. First statement saying GDP measures the monetary value of all final goods and services produced in an economy in a given. This is correct. And what is the second statement is they are telling monetary. See, first statement if we observe, they are saying monetary value measured in money, it is correct. Final goods ready to use and given period is 1 year. The statement is 100% correct. Now what is second statement? GDP includes the value of all intermediate goods and services. But no. What are intermediate goods? Goods used to make other goods. Example, wheat used to make bread. Steel used to make car. If we count wheat plus bread, we are counting it twice. This is called what? Double counting. So GDP never allows double counting. So statement 2 is wrong. Now what is the third statement? GDP includes depreciation. Depreciation means wear and tear of machines, buildings and tools. GDP is a what? Gross concept. Gross means before subtracting depreciation. So yes, GDP includes what? Depreciation. Statement 3 is absolutely correct. Now what is the final answer? See, 1 and 3 are correct. Remember this forever. GDP, final goods plus includes depreciation. GDP is not equal to intermediate goods. Right? Final, like this is how you need to link up the subject with your questions. Then it will become very, very easy. Let's discuss another question. Now this question is saying with reference to gross value added of an economy, consider the following statements. GVA is the value of output minus the value of intermediate consumption. GVA is a measure of economic activity at basic prices. And third statement, GDP at market prices can be derived from GVA by adding taxes on products and subtracting subsidies on products. No, they are asking which of the above statements are correct. Now we have got a new word, GVA. We'll make it simple. GVA means how much extra value a producer adds. GVA is the value of output minus the value of intermediate consumption is what statement 1 is saying. Let me explain. A farmer sells wheat for 100. He spent 40 on seeds and fertilizer. Now value added is what? 100 minus 40, which is what? 60. Now that GVA is what? 60. So the formula is correct now. So statement is correct. Statement 1 is correct. And now statement 2. GVA is a measure of economic activity at basic price. Now what are basic prices? Basic price means price received by producer without the taxes, including subsidies. So GVA always talks from producer side. So yes, statement 2 is also correct. Now what is statement 3? Statement 3 is talking about GDP at market prices can be derived from GVA by adding taxes and subtracting subsidies. This is very important formula. GDP is equals to GVA plus taxes minus subsidies. So market price includes taxes. Market price excludes subsidies. So this statement is also correct. Statement 3 is also correct. Final answer is 1, 2 and 3. If you remember this formula, you can solve many UPSC questions easily. So we'll have to have this kind of clarity while we are learning the concepts. So economy is about learning the concepts and applying the concepts. Okay. So this is how we need to study. Okay. Yeah. Good day guys. Thank you for patiently listening to this class, and we'll meet in the next class.